Thank you for tuning in to the Afternoon Pint. This episode is sponsored by Camilla Najat of Exit Realty, Strategy Up Business Consultants, and ISS Atlantic Security Guard Services. Enjoy the show.
Cheers.
Cheers. Welcome to the Afternoon Pint. I'm Mike Tobin.
I am Matt Conrad.
And who do you have with us today?
I'm Travis Lindsay. I'm a stand-up comic.
What's up, Travis?
Ooh, not much, guys.
Not any stand-up comic.
Clown.
That's a nice way to start.
Got you right off the top. There was 2 seconds. It's not got you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Man, oh man. So Travis, you had a big year in comedy. I mean, you've been on what was it? Canada's
Got Talent.
Canada's Got Talent. You were a finalist.
Yeah,
right. That got
made
really
the finals,
close.
Yeah.
I was cheering you on here to see one of
man, thank
Halifax's own up there because I was falling in love with you and your grandma right at the same time because that was a really sweet story there, having her involved into it and everything.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that was it was a wild ride. I mean, it's weird because it's played out over from March to May, so it seems like it's a quick 3 months. It was this time last year was when we filmed the audition.
Oh, okay.
You know, and then you wait. Because even though we got yeses, if you watch the show too, everyone that gets yeses does not even move to the semifinals.
Yeah.
From the however many yeses they give you, there's like 12, 14 semifinal spots. And so like from the 50 people that all made it through, we got whittled down to that.
It's a big show.
You know, and then I don't even know what the criteria is to go boo, boo, boo. You know, Daniel Powder was audition that
I know
the guy sings the bad
bad day.
You know that.
Oh really?
Yeah,
he was on.
And
he got him.
He got yeses.
Yeah,
but he didn't make it through to the semi.
Wow, so he just showed up for fun.
It's not even a showed up for fun. He's a one-hit wonder. Like that's one of the greatest one-hit wonders, right? And it's like a freaking American Idol.
That song's a one-hit wonder song. You had a bad day.
Yeah, that's the song that American Idol used for like 13 years.
I had no idea who was saying that.
Dude's probably making royalty upon royalty checks, but that's all he's known for.
You know what the worst part is though is when he does have a bad day. He can't leave his house. He will hear that song. I was in the dollar store 2 days ago, and I heard that, and I was like, "Oh!" Once he got an email being like, "Hey, you
break up with a girl, you're driving home, the radio's playing. Yeah, you had a bad day."
Yeah. So I think he went on. I think he went on this because he's a Canadian artist, and he went on there to like kind of, I guess, like restart his career. Right. Which has happened because I mean I've seen it on American Got Talent.
Yeah.
Well, American Got Talent had a guy on there. I wish I could remember his name, but I remember like he was a comedian on Just for Laughs in like 1999. Yeah. And he did the same act that
Star
he did
Wars.
I
know his name. I know his name.
I know. Too. I can't remember his name, but I saw that he did that act. And I was like, dude, did this in Montreal like 24, 25 years ago.
I know.
And he went on there and just did it again. And I'm a little surprised that Howie Mandel like didn't know that.
I'm sure
he probably did. Whatever, right?
Probably how he did.
I don't know. You think so? Like he's seen so many people now.
He has.
Yeah, but I mean, like in that time frame, if he was working, like how he was working
the clubs,
like,
and also
they would have crossed paths.
Yeah.
Right. This dude is like a working comic. Like that. That's the thing about the comics that go on this show. They were like working comics, but being a working comic still, means $1 million would be real nice.
100%.
So 100%.
But that's the thing though. But I find like the biggest fans of comics are other comics.
Yeah.
Like they're all in this tight little circle, and like you guys, like when you're in stage, you're seeing when you're going up on stage, you're seeing a lot of the same people at the same clubs. You're rotating around at the same time, or maybe you probably even travel together, right? Things like that, right? Just to keep costs down and stuff, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So, I mean, it makes sense that, like, so I was a little surprised, like, he didn't say, like, wait, I remember you used to.
He probably
could.
They
probably edited it out.
Yeah, and they would edit it out, because the story is, of course, he's this comic that's been working so hard.
Right.
And now here's his big moment after all these years.
Right.
Having a classic JFL, one that's played in the highlights, the compilations, the best of moments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. It really is. Yeah, because he was a finalist, I think, in America Got Talent.
He made it pretty far. I mean, what's his Michael Winslow, the guy from the Police Academy movies?
What? Yes,
he was on American Got Talent.
Did and they were like, he did his audition, and then they did that thing.
Oh, they kind of.
Oh, wait a minute, I know you.
Yeah. I always thought that stuff was like plants, though. Like, I thought that was all plants.
And I guess the thing is, he like left Hollywood because it was like his his wife passed or like something. Oh, really? So he had a whole story.
Man, Family Matters is a show that doesn't get enough love. Like going back, that was such an important.
No, not Carl Winslow, not Reginald Val Johnson.
Oh, I thought Winslow.
Michael Winslow from the Police Academy,
who does all those sound effects. The black guy does all sound.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I really went to Family. I'm a younger guy, I guess. I mean, that was the show I grew up with. So
amazing. Yeah. Reginald Val Johnson is not.
Yeah, he's doing Dance with the Stars.
I never really watched Police Academy. Like I never really watched either one of them. I know who you're talking about. The wheel guy on the
Hightower was my favorite character.
Yeah.
Hightower was the best. Yeah, he was that giant, Frankenstein guy kind of thing. He was just huge, like strong, whatever.
Yeah. They made like 6 or 7.
8.
8, yeah.
I think the last one they go to Russia.
Really?
I did not see that. I think I saw the first 4.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to you.
Wow, that was a segue.
So yeah, you were saying this like it was like a this time of the year kind of year-long process to really kind of get it done. Like so did they host those things here? Like did you?
No. I flew out to Niagara.
Okay, so they did like even the very, 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 very start is all Niagara too.
It's all in Niagara.
It's not like American Idol where they scatter around or anything like that.
No, other than when you sign up to audition, be like for consideration.
Right.
I did that for my laptop and phone, but other than that, it was you had to fly out to Niagara and stay for a couple days and.
Did they fly you out or you fly out yourself? Or?
When you go to audition, it's all on you.
Okay.
So it was kind of like a betting on me.
Yeah, of course,
thing. And honestly, I never thought I would do something like that. I was like, that's not my fit. This is not the kind of I can do clean comedy, I can do corporate comedy. That's fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I also don't want to pass that off as that's my main thing. I don't want people to come to a show and then be like mortified that the guy that loves his grandma has a very wide vocabulary.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And again, I'm not like I'm not Dice.
No.
But I can clean up my stuff. But I use all the words that are out there. And, I like to talk about everything.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And if people are cool with that, great. I just don't want anyone to I don't want to misrepresent myself.
No, man, a challenging set for a comic has to be a clean set.
Yeah.
That is
there's so few that can do it and do it well.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And do it clean and do it where I'm still me.
Right.
I don't want to just be doing an impression of a clean comic. I'm not. Still, the whole point of my act is it's just me being me up there. It's the only place I feel like I can be me.
Yeah.
So I don't want to compromise that, and when I do compromise, I always end up regretting it. So
there is probably something really freeing about being on the stage and just being able to like kind of say whatever you want. Because I mean, I know there's always people who are mad about things, but the fact is that when you go on a stage, you can kind of say anything. And people are like, well, it's an act.
It just has to be.
Versus if I'm like on the
stage. It has to be done well.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Versus, but if
didn't work out good for Kramer.
No, it didn't. But but if I could say you decide to go and do your act right there on the sidewalk. It might not be taken as comedy, or you might not be able to say the things that you're saying simply based on location. Right?
No, absolutely. There's a weird chemistry to. I've done comedy in this room.
Mm-hmm.
I've done stand up at the end, and it's been set up 2 different ways. And when it's set up one way, it's definitely better than the other. There's a weird,
100%.
Interesting
science to stuff.
But it also has to do with the location allows people to understand that sometimes what is being said is not always real. And it's okay to laugh.
Well, it's context,
It's context. So, I mean, like, you can go in there and you can say certain things that, might be, like, edgy, dark humor, whatever. You say it on stage. I'm sitting there going, like, this is an act. We're supposed to laugh.
Of course,
Versus if you stand on the sidewalk, I'm sitting there going, like, whoa, that dude's messed up.
Yeah, of course, Right? There's some guy ranting on, the street. It's some kind of performance art. It could be some real
could be that too.
There's layers to everything. But
so it must be really kind of freeing to be able to just go on stage and just, say.
Yeah, it is. And it's free, but it's still scary.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because once it's out there, it's still... There's still things I need to work myself up into feeling confident.
I remember when I tried comedy first time, dude, my hands were shaking. I never knew I had that problem until I got on the stage. I've been on stage before doing other things, but comedy was a whole different bit.
Yeah.
It's like there's no one else for my balls to look at.
Yeah.
You know they're looking at just you for a second.
It's you. And if you mess up,
it feels really real. Yeah. So my hands were shaking. I couldn't remember my jokes. So I'm reading them off a piece of paper line for line. Thank God people thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
I got lucky, right? Yeah. And I just read them dry as shit, and I'm like, people were laughing at the lines. So I kept doing that.
Yeah.
Until I stopped. Right? I was like, oh, that worked. Okay, I'll do that again.
Yeah.
Eventually it was shaking a little less, but like, man. And then like the locations too, right?
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
The second time in a comedy. It's like, we got you booked at this place, man. And like, there's a family eating their dinner like 3 feet away from you that don't want to hear a comedian. I know. And you're standing like right there looking at them, like making jokes.
And it's insane how much someone can hate someone who's trying to make them laugh.
Yeah,
it's the weirdest thing in the world. Like if
it's like the worst salesman of all time. That just showed up at your doorstep.
I could like hit on some guy's wife, and he would be less annoyed with me if I wasn't funny. Like if I wasn't funny, I'm like, this guy sucks. Oh, he's like, people hate you.
Yeah.
What if they don't find it's the weirdest thing in the world. I get not being like, that guy's not funny.
So are you the type of comedian that likes a little light heckling, kind of like enjoy that a little bit? Because crowd work seems to be the thing right now.
This episode is brought to you by Camilla Najat with Exit Realty Metro.
Camilla Najat is an experienced real estate agent who prides herself in finding the perfect home for her clients. Camilla can help you with a comparative market analysis to help determine the value of your home if you're planning on selling, or help you determine the going rate for the neighborhood you're moving into. She can also work with you at your pace.
You can reach Camilla by calling 902-880-8429 or email camilla@exitmetro.ca.
Also, you can find her on Facebook at Camilla Najat, Exit Realty Metro.
Yeah, I don't
like it.
I don't like it ever.
Yeah.
I don't. That doesn't mean I get annoyed when it happens, because I know people are like, I get what it like, it's gonna happen.
Right.
I do understand that. But if you're someone who also knows that, then you know that you don't need to do it.
Right.
If you're someone who sincerely doesn't know, and you're like, I just like to, I just want to be part. It happens.
Yeah.
It can create something funny.
Yeah.
I used to think it was good when comics would post those clips, because it wasn't burning their material. That was always my big thing with online.
Okay, that's fair.
I hated when people were posting. You want to post topical stuff, of course, because that's going to get dated and whatever.
That's right.
That. And I was liking crowd work stuff, but then it became people starting to do stand up and getting into stand up and just start doing crowd work.
I don't think it's that funny. Like, I don't think crowd work's always that great when you get behind.
Well, it's going to be hit or miss, because again, it's not. And you're watching someone try something for the first time.
Like, you and I watched Jimmy Carr bomb trying to do crowd work.
Honestly, and generally he does pretty good.
Right.
But when Jimmy Carr was here with Jim Jeffries, Jeffries crushed it. Jeffries was so good.
Yeah.
But Carr kind of fell a little flat, and I think it's more like, maybe it's because it's this big arena, and it's like he got people like texting it in as opposed to just like, show. Some people in the front kind
of had people
it.
yelling, but they were just saying such dumb things.
Yeah.
That's the other thing too. Like, it was really, really dumb. Yeah. Like, I mean, everyone like
that's what you're at the mercy of.
Yeah.
Right.
When you engage that, it's not like I can be. Maybe I'm great.
The chances that you're going to get. The chances you're going to get like an intelligent person in the audience as sharp as you are, and like right on the same level, like blocks with you, is like low, really low. Right. You've been doing this every night.
Yeah.
I'm like so against heckling and all this stuff. Like, hey, it happens, but I think it's an unfortunate byproduct of comedy, and I don't think it's actually great at all.
Yeah, I've never heckled a comedian, and I don't think I ever really would.
Yeah.
I mean, you may not get a laugh out of me or something like that, but why go in there and try to like ruin someone's night, like throw them off even more?
when you go in and you're like, I'm going to show this guy, that kind of stuff is like real annoying. I don't mind.
Even if I didn't enjoy it, like if I sat there and listened to yours, I wouldn't simply be like boo or like this sucks. Or, like I wouldn't do that.
That's usually like middle-aged women.
Yeah.
Really? Middle-aged women, you'll get a lot of like, next.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, and you're like, that's not.
And do you think it's because like there's just been too many drinks and stuff?
Of course.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you know, yeah. Guys will try to be as funny as you.
Yeah.
Right.
I find like older women will like try to like shut it down, move on.
Wow. Okay.
Like before there is a problem.
Well, there's a real
Which is like terrible for comics. Because
Comedy's
now
a
I
weird
go,
thing.
well, now I want to dig my heels in.
Right.
Because I find you hilarious.
Right.
That you thought that was gonna next.
Yeah.
Now,
Well,
how about like, do you watch Kill Tony?
I check clips every now and then. Yeah. But I don't
just think like there's a real, like amateur comedy like there. That's like all the amateur.
Yeah.
People don't know what it is. It's basically, I think it's the most popular live podcast now in the world.
There's a comic from here who was on it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, his name's Vandad.
okay. When was he on there?
He was on a little while. I don't know if he'd want you to watch his.
I'd have to. Did he get tore up? Yeah.
It was alright.
I listened to it. So they get 1 minute to speak, and then they get pretty much eviscerated by a few other comics.
Yeah.
That's what happens, and I can't stop listening to it.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
It's a great show.
I can't believe how many people get up there unprepared, thinking that they're just going to murder with this like, subpar boner.
Oh, I can. I see it all the time. Every open mic. That's
I'm like, why would you even like?
Yeah.
Who'd you talk to before you left and did this? Like, who? I just don't get it.
Yeah, but that's the same thing with people who go on like American Idol and think they can sing, and then they might be one of the worst singers. Like, it's not even like you who just sang that like song, Bad Day song, and you're kind of like, okay, not a singer, but didn't destroy my eardrums. And some people go on there and you're like, you are awful and probably shouldn't talk anymore, right? And yet those people are brave enough to go on there and sing in front of a million people.
Because you do have to have that in you to do any of this. You need to have, so you get my credit right away for even going up, even if it's
you get the guts.
even if it's delusion. You went up there, which is so much more than a lot of people. A lot of people don't want to get pulled up from the crowd at the buskers to, just hold a toonie or something, say what your name is. It's,
right.
Hey, Doug. Like, it's, it's one of the biggest. So anyone that gets up there to try anything, automatically, good for you.
Yeah.
But, there is such a weird delusion with some people.
So outside of the heckling though, what because the crowd work outside of heckling is now a trend. It's a trend in comedy. Matt Rife seemed to really kind of blow it up, and I mean, I'm like kind of wishy-washy on him a little bit. He has some okay stuff, but I watched his special and I was just kind of like, this dude has no material if no one's talking to him, right? There's another guy and his name's escaping me. My wife absolutely loves him. He does a lot of crowd work. It's all he posts. But I actually find it really good. It's pretty wholesome for the most part. I wish I could remember his name. Anyway, I think he's like an Italian, like American guy.
Okay.
But fantastic crowd work. Like, he just goofs around with people. He actively goes in there and like wants to talk.
It seems like the audience does love it. Like when they're in those warm environments, all kind of chuckling together. And if it's welcome, then
Yeah, I mean, it's part of a show. Like, it makes an audience feel like we're not just up there phoning it in, and they're being part of a real moment. It's great in a live audience. What's being now is it's being so oversaturated and it's being forced as this is what stand-up is.
That's true. I agree.
It's making people that know comedy from before it blew up like this. Are getting resentful when they see crowd work.
I think that's right.
And that can fuck up a show because sometimes crowd work is like a way to sneak in new material, or it's a way to figure out a segue into some shit or add. It has its purpose.
I
don't think it can be the whole meal though.
Comics like Norm Macdonald, man, like people that just owned their own material and their own
joke,
like, and just you just went somewhere else for a minute, right? You're like, holy Jesus, how did that guy do that?
Absolutely.
How did he tell that joke?
You've got to have jokes. You've got to, there's got to be a setup. And
where did that come
punchline
from?
In there, somewhere. You can't just rely on I got snappy comebacks.
Right.
That's great. Go right on a sitcom.
So
exactly, right. And that's the thing. A lot of them are writing. Like a lot of stand-up comics and stuff like that to get by and everything are writing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you were writing with CBC. That stopped this year.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yes, it does.
Yeah,
No, it really does.
And was there? How is CBC doing right now with 22 minutes? Do you feel like they were just kind of turning over, or kind of?
I don't know. I thought it was. I thought it was going fine. I mean, we had just won the writers just won the Canadian Screen Award. This past summer. So
yeah.
I was
so
like,
so
this was like the first year I was like, oh, I probably got a job.
Yeah.
No idea. They just said, I got an email saying they didn't have the resources. So
wow.
That's what I was told.
That's brutal.
So
yeah.
So
yeah.
So it sucks.
That does suck. And I mean, with 22 minutes, I mean, I imagine with shows like that, as time goes on, production kind of does start to get a little bit more expensive, I can imagine, because they have to keep rolling and being fresh and new, and this show's been on for 30 years or something.
Yeah, this was season 32, I think. 32.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's I imagine first year when you first try to launch a show like this, production doesn't have to be too big. Just be kind of funny, little things there. You get away with a staff of 6 or something, right? In terms of on screen or whatever.
Yeah.
But now,
so I know very little about the writing room of 22 minutes. Is it akin to the writing room of SNL, where the rumors, you're in 6 night weeks to
no, it's not that. It's definitely not that crazy.
No,
it's Monday is show night. Tuesday is when we have our meeting to meet and brainstorm ideas for writing. Wednesdays when we do our table read of our sketches and pick them. Thursday, Fridays shoot, and then weekend is punch up and whatever. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not too insane.
Not too intense.
From from a writer's perspective.
And how many writers did you guys have on the show?
It varied. I mean, there's a group of us in the room, and then there was some in Toronto.
Yeah.
So yeah. So most of them are from Toronto.
Oh, okay.
I mean now that a lot of people moved back around the pandemic, there's a few.
Yeah.
There's more people that live here that are in that room.
Well, that's better.
I mean, when
you got to get that.
When I started, I was the only guy that lived here.
No way.
Really? Yeah.
Wow. Holy smokes.
Yeah, they lived here all year. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Jeez, yeah. Because I would think writer's room, when you get together, someone starts with something. You know how things snow, even when you're with your buddies and stuff like that. Things snowball and get bigger and whatever.
Yeah.
Not be that much difference. I would think it's better.
But is there also competitiveness and stealing and all that kind of?
No, there's none of that because we're all friends. I mean, that's the worst part about not working there anymore. And I'm not a big social guy outside of. If I'm not forced to be in a room with people, I'm not proactively let's hang out and it's as much as I would want to. I'm just not. That's not who I am.
Yeah. Do you think that's normal for comedians?
No, I think that's normal for guys who are autistic.
All right, fair enough. That's fair. But I wonder sometimes if that's typical because you got to turn yourself on right when you're in front of the show. But when you're in front of people, as much as you're in front of sometimes hundreds, thousands, whatever, you're really alone. You're on that stage, right? You're not really with a bunch of people when you're up there.
Yeah, to a degree, I feel like that, and I don't feel like that at all. At the same time, I when I'm up there, I feel more connected than I ever do.
Okay.
Off stage is when I'm in the void of life, and I feel like I'm in limbo like this. A one-on-one conversation, is 10 times more scarier than being on stage.
Oh yeah.
When I'm on stage and I get a room full.
I'm a little different there because right now, these are the times where I feel the most connected. It's just with the smaller conversations. Put me in a house party, I just want to leave in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm kind of like that too. Yeah. If in a host party situation, if I do like to people watch and kind of observe. Sometimes I just like being in the room and people think oh, you're not having a good time. I'm I just have nothing to say.
Right.
I'm happy to be here and enjoy everyone's company. Yeah. I'm listening.
Yeah.
If I have something,
I'll be the first guy to be hey man, you want to go get some hot dogs or something?
And if that idea pops in my head, I'm
and then I'm ready to go.
Let's do it. Yeah. But I'm pretty go with the flow in that sense. I like being around people.
Yeah.
I don't like being around people and expect it to have to
perform,
be on and be boom.
Yeah,
so people that take me as I am is where I'm where I'm at my happiest and stuff. But yeah, being on stage though, that's where I feel like, oh, okay, I'm not crazy. People are laughing at this stuff. They're laughing because what I'm saying is silly, and they're still accepting my quirks, or they're laughing because they 100% relate. So it means I'm not totally alone out in the world. Right. It's just.
How'd you find comedy?
I've always liked comedy. I've always liked putting on little, performing in that. Conversations and stuff have never been my strong suit, but I could, if I was, had a mask on, I was doing a character, or, I like to be creative and outwards and that, and laughing is it's a response you can't mistake.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, you're laughing, so it's good.
It's good.
It's got to be good. I mean, obviously there are certain laughs that you can tell, but even then, so I have a hard time, I think reading people, but I know what a laugh is and I know what a laugh means. So I really hone in and really try to get that reaction out of people, because I know that's a good sign and that's how they like me, and it makes me feel less insecure, and I've always enjoyed making people laugh.
Let me ask you this: as a guy that tried comedy and ran away from it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Okay. How many times you just want to say "fuck this" and just hang it up?
I mean, it's happened. It happens a couple times. I mean, there are moments where you're like
a couple times a day, a year, a week.
No,
I was kind of wondering how you feel sometimes. I mean, you've had ups and downs.
Yeah,
you're still a great comic despite not winning Canada's Got Talent.
Yeah, mine are sporadic.
Or,
mine are sporadic. This, definitely this year there have been
big ups and big downs.
And there have been days where
right?
I've definitely thought, I've had it pop up more than usual.
100%.
But I also quickly realize how unhappy I have a very clear memory of what 2020 was like, and not being able to do stand up, and I was going nuts. I didn't realize how bad I needed it until
I met you, or I've seen you perform before 2020. You were doing fantastic then.
Yeah,
you were really moving around. I think you were working on a special at that point or something.
Probably, yeah. Once the pandemic happened, and my buddy died, and then I couldn't do comedy, which would have been the thing I would have jumped right into after he died. Right, I would have been like, oh, this is, Then I couldn't get on stage anymore. Yeah. And then it was like the first real show I did in front of people back, which was a backyard show.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I got off stage and I walked down the driveway and down the street and I almost started crying. It was like I had scratched such an itch. It was such a pressure release because I was,
feel that.
Even though you're like, oh, things are coming back, until you do it. There's that fear was there that, I'll never get on stage again. I didn't appreciate it when I had it.
Right.
And just to even be on someone's back deck for 15 minutes, just riffing and, seeing if I could even remember how to do stand-up was the best. And, so anytime these days when I think about screw this, I go, then what?
Yeah.
You're
exactly.
not, if you're not happy doing this, how unhappy you are when you're not doing it. So,
right. That's a good point.
If you're going to be bummed, might as well be, a little less bummed.
Pushing what you're doing.
Yeah. And just keep showing up.
Yeah. How you feeling these days about getting up? I know it's been a bit of a tough year, being real. Hey, look, we all want to win these things, just like I want to win the Coast nomination for our podcast, right? Every little tiny victory means something to a comic or an artist, no matter who you are, right?
Better, some days are better than others, some days I'm like, it's, you feel like at a standstill, I'm almost at doing this half my life.
I was going to ask you when you started doing it.
16.
16, okay.
Yeah. That's crazy. I'm 32 now.
32?
I started January 20th, 2009.
You're not lying about your age? 32?
No, 32. No, yeah. No, I know.
I'm 32
I know.
also.
Yeah.
What was your first gig?
High school talent show.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's when you kind of got that itch, right? You're like, hey, I'm going to give it a shot.
Yeah, because I didn't care I won. I was just like, oh, this feels right.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I've never really felt that before. I was like, it just felt, I was like, oh, I know what I'm doing up here. I think this is I just knew right away. I was like, oh, I think this is my thing.
It's obvious you feel like that this is what you're meant to do, and you're going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Keep going out there, right? Not stop.
Yeah, it's how I communicate with people. Like, I can't, it's unless we're talking wrestling or Disney, I can't get many fluent thoughts and coherent thoughts out of my head. But when I'm
by Disney, do you mean Marvel or just Disney?
All of it.
Oh, okay. You're the whole
Star Wars.
So Star Wars.
That's the problem. It's all of it.
We could hang out for a while.
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah. So and you like wrestling?
I think I'm a big wrestling guy.
Okay. Yeah. So you grew up. I'm not a wrestling fan anymore, but I grew up like 80s, 90s, early 2000s wrestling fan. That was definitely. Like my jam, right? I still have those wrestling. Remember those wrestling buddies?
Of course. I still have them. Oh, right on.
So my 3-year-old son actually still wrestles with those.
Oh, hell yeah!
Like, quite literally, like whatever it is, like 30.
That's
years
awesome.
Later, right?
That's great.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
I mean,
I saved them, and so it's pretty cool. So who's your wrestlers?
Oh God, it's always a hard question because I literally am when I say like fan, like I love it all. Like I love bad guys, I love good guys, I love the art of it. So
I'm a bad guy.
Yeah,
like, for the most part.
Heels are always
in everything. In everything.
Yeah.
Like, whether I like a superhero is how much I like his villains.
Yeah. Of course, they got to have someone interesting.
Exactly.
To counteract.
But like when it comes to wrestling, I'm a little bit of both there because on one hand it's like I'm a huge Bret Hart fan.
Yeah, Bret's. Yeah,
right. Bret's one of my, but also like. Number 2 might very well be like The Undertaker.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, absolutely. So, yeah. No, Bret's a big one. I know it's so bad to say as a Canadian, but I'm a big Shawn Michaels. Like Shawn Michaels.
No, that's fine. Shawn Michaels is one of the best. Even Bret Hart will even tell you.
I know. But, even the screw job, ever since the screw job, it's, it still feels like it's touchy territory.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah. No, I was always big. I was a big Shawn guy, and I love The Rock. And, like, those are always, like, I can always say constant.
Yeah.
My two favorites, no matter what. But
I don't think
so many good guys.
There is Razor Ramon, like Scott Hall was always one of my up there for in terms of villains.
Yeah.
Mr. Perfect.
Yeah.
Love Mr. I can't just get rid of a gum.
I know. I
gotta
spit it
and swat it every single time.
And take a pencil and try and catch it.
Yeah, I still attempt to throw a football up in the air and try to catch it myself.
Yeah.
Still, I'm 39 years old. I still try to do it. Been trying to do it since I was like 8 years old.
Yeah.
So no, that's cool, man.
Yeah. No, I got a wide spectrum of interest outside of comedy. But yeah, when it comes to comedy, I feel like I can just talk about anything. And I'm more comfortable, just any issue. You can just kind of.
How are you keeping your writing muscle going? What are you working on now?
I mean, I don't write like other people. I don't sit down and write
No.
I've never been able to, because I don't want to act. I want to speak. Right. I want to go up and talk about what I want to talk about. So I do it almost the same way you would almost prep for like a podcast. Mm-hmm. I put down beats. And sometimes that beat will become a bigger thing if it's a bigger chunk of an idea, and I go, okay, well, I know this topic leads in this story. Well, now I've labeled it the joke of this, so I'll just put a word, and I trigger my mind,
and then just riff off
that. And then if I come up with ideas, I'll write them down on in a notebook, or I'll write them down on my phone.
Yeah.
But to keep the muscle of writing, I just walk. Because if I'm distracting the rest of my body, then I can just focus on my mind.
I've been using voicemails on my phone a lot lately.
That's a good one,
and
too.
I sound like a psychopath. If I play those through for you right now, you would know what's going on.
I know.
Yeah.
And I get so insecure, which is insane.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, it's not a message anyone's going to hear but me. I'm just going to say. So I don't know why I don't know why it sounds like I'm asking someone out. Where I'm like,
I hope Apple's as secure as they say they are.
You went to the store today and you got, no, you didn't see it. And it's like, just say, it's who cares? And if you're flubbing, it's fine.
Oh, yeah.
But I get
it's just you there, right? So I love it. So when I'm in the car, I'll use it all the time.
Yeah.
What?
Hard to lie to yourself.
Oh, yeah. It's hard to lie to yourself. But I mean, there's a million ways to kind of keep that going, and it's just like whenever you have that spark or that second, you just got to jump right on.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm learning to listen to mine a lot more these days.
Yeah.
Right? And just doesn't matter if I'm in the car, in the shower, whatever. Hit that friggin' recording thing, and no matter how stupid the thought was, record it for a second.
And, don't trust yourself to remember it later.
Right.
You won't.
Do not.
You won't.
I actually had jokes for you tonight that I was going because I loved Norm Macdonald, right? You know, saying like his at the end of his podcast, he used to read the jokes and get the guests.
That was great. Yeah. The Super Dave.
Totally going to do that tonight. Full transparency. I was so busy, I had no time. So I was like, and I was going to give us jokes to hand around the table. Don't have, but you come back next year and we can do that.
Absolutely. I have a whole book. It's like 500 jokes. It's like a really old joke book. I've never even really gone through it just because I've always wanted to save it for an occasion to like pop it out and read it because I don't know how good or bad these jokes are, but like it's like a 50-year-old
That's what makes
joke
it fun,
book.
though, right? Like, so I would just test them and see if other people read them or if you read them. If a joke I wrote might be half decent, right?
See, that would be a good round two for this. Is like we don't talk about anything. We just open the book and and the three of us just try to tell the joke.
Yeah. That'd be very funny.
I think we can just record it.
I might have one or two on my phone here. Let's just see if I can find one.
So I have a very wide span of humor. I like everything from like dad jokes and puns to like the darkest. Like I like Anthony Jeselnik. And stuff
of course.
Who would you kind of say like who do you look to in terms of like your like these are the people naturally gravitated towards, not necessarily inspiration because I know every comic needs to make their own way and not compare themselves to someone else.
No, I wouldn't call them inspirations. These guys, like Richard Pryor was
he's a
like who got me like really into this, and like Eddie was like Eddie Murphy was another one. You know, I'm a big Chappelle guy.
I think he's the GOAT.
To me, I just the amount of work he churns out is like to me is great.
All right, here's the first joke to read. I'll try that.
Do you want me to read the title of it, or
no,
just start at an American?
No, just you skip the title.
Okay. An American asked me if we get pizza up in Canada. I said it's pretty cold. We can only buy it frozen.
Is that a great joke?
No.
No. All right. I like bombing.
All right, it's okay. But you know what though? That is definitely a Norm Macdonald joke. Though. Like honestly, I can see.
Okay, here one more. Try this one. I'm gonna try to give you some comedy gold here. Okay. This one will be the best.
I just bought a 4-in-1 body wash. I read the details on the bottle to see what the fourth thing was. It said self-affirmation. I looked on the bottom of the bottle, and it said, "You are worth it."
Okay, I like that one.
You see, comedic genius.
That is also a Norm Macdonald joke, but that's like a funny Norm Macdonald joke. No, so like in terms of like inspiration, like that, like because I think Chappelle is the GOAT. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's gone, not his last special, but his second last special I think was like some of the best that he's ever done. But I mean, everything since he's come back, his last like 6 specials have been comedy gold. I'm also a huge Bill Burr fan.
Yeah, I love Bill.
So like Chappelle and Burr are like up there. I do like Jimmy Carr quite a bit, but like his show wasn't great here.
Hey Matt, why was the single dolphin sad on New Year's Eve?
I don't know.
He had no porpoise.
Well, that actually is a punchline from a Norm Macdonald joke.
Is
he
it?
does on Conan.
Is that a Conan joke?
It is.
Okay, because it's in my jokes folder. I don't know if they're mine or not.
Oh, you don't even know if you're reading your own jokes? These are all Norm jokes.
This is a joke about podcasts. I want to start a podcast on anti-consumerism, but I need some sponsors.
Oh.
Is that weak?
Yeah.
Should I not do any more of these?
I think you should stick to podcasting.
Yeah? All right. Should I close my jokes folder? This episode is brought to you by Strategy Up. Strategy Up is a business consulting firm led by Mark Zerka, who has over 20 years' experience in building commercial strategies that will up your game, organize your teams, increase your productivity, and grow your business.
Whether you're a construction company looking to grow your revenue or a busy restaurant owner just trying to keep the doors open, Strategy Up can help. Strategy Up's boutique-style consultations will help you improve business process across nearly any industry.
Being a successful entrepreneur does not mean you have to be an expert in everything. Strategy Up specializes in building a relationship with you. Once pain points in the business are realized, Strategy Up will introduce process and technology that will power up your game to the next level.
A successful business requires investment. Your next step towards growth starts now. Email info@mystrategyup.com for a free business discovery call. Up your game with Strategy Up.
But yeah, so it's like I think you get some of your hardest laughs and like from Bill and but that being said too, like I know it's a little bit controversial now to a degree, but Louis CK was always up there for me too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, when I was starting, I mean that was like when Louis blew up, and Louis was my hero. Like he had a new special every year that was like you know, he was the one. Like now it's everyone does it whether or not they should, and that's the thing.
Back then though, it was like
if it works for
Louis
you,
specials used to get everybody gathered around at the house, like it was like watching a big fight or something, right?
Yeah, and then his way of doing it and just putting it out through his his own stuff.
Also, like probably one of the only white comedians that can get away with dropping the N-bomb. Like
that's because he got that sneaky little bit of.
Mexican, he's Mexican. That's right.
Oh, okay.
Mexican.
Yeah, he's his mother, I think, is Mexican.
His dad.
No, it's his dad.
His dad is, and his mom is. I think she's like Polish.
Yes,
it might be like
it's something like that.
Jewish.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I think you're right.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, I got to see Louis in Toronto in 2012, my first year of college. That was like, and that was like amazing. That was great.
Oh, that'd be cool.
But yeah, Louis was a big one for me.
He was a big Tosh fan too. At one point, Daniel. Tosh,
I used to like watch Tosh Point just because he would react.
Was great.
Yeah,
he was fantastic.
He would just react to the videos.
Yeah,
like seriously, like he wouldn't try to dub them.
No,
I hate when it's like the video itself is funny.
Yeah,
if you want to be funny with it, react to it. Don't try to add. Don't add a voice. Don't be like, oh, hey, what's going on here?
Yeah, like America's Funniest Videos.
I know,
or something.
And it's like, it's never clever or funny. It's just shoehorned in words that fit within the time length before someone falls down.
Right.
Tosh was great, especially the web redemption stuff.
Yeah,
those were awesome.
Those were amazing.
Those were great.
He was also kind of like the originator of like the reaction videos. Like now that's a trend on like Instagram and YouTube and stuff. Like people, like I'm a little bit surprised that like people have whole YouTube channels reacting to other people's videos. It's like I'm just stealing people's content, and then you can watch me watch it.
I know,
right?
And I feel like it's making people worse audiences.
Yes,
in live events and stuff.
Yeah,
because they don't know how to react to stuff on their own because they're so used to reacting to someone react to moments.
Right,
and people I don't think realize that. Not everything is a dope viral moment. Yeah, sometimes there's lead up and there's build up. Like, we got to like work on gaining some attention span back and like rebuilding it. And this comes from someone with ADHD. We gotta fucking rebuild our focusing. Like,
I agree. He and I kind of like argue with this. He's always like the shorter the video, the better.
We took an ADHD test and I scored higher than him.
No, you didn't.
I mean higher and the more ADHD I had.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did. I got a higher score than you.
I didn't think you did.
We were trying to score points on who had the most ADHD.
We scored high. Both of us scored very high.
And very close as well.
Like it was, we scored very high on the ADHD test. Because I'm.
You guys want to hear one word of the jokes folder?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
He might have scored higher than you.
Disneyland Europe. The only difference is Minnie Mouse has armpit hair.
I see what you're doing, but
is that not funny?
Yeah.
All right, man.
Jeez, you guys. You know what though?
Tough crowd.
You know what?
These are thoughts.
These are all thoughts.
These are all thoughts.
Maybe not fully. That's funny. These are thoughts that maybe you should have kept to yourself.
So they're not jokes, is what you're saying. And it's why I shouldn't go to Kill Tony. Yeah.
Or should you?
Yeah, I mean, those clips go viral too, so it could be.
Yeah, that's right.
I think that would have been like a good joke in like 1996.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
That would have been one at like during the announcement of your Disney.
That's honestly
that would have been Leno would have been
Seinfeld joke.
That's
a Seinfeld joke.
Is it?
That would have been like a late show.
Yeah. I love those types of jokes. So I think maybe that's my favorite type of comedy.
Which is totally fine.
Is the old
that's the best thing about comedy. There's something for everyone.
I mean, I do like Seinfeld. I'm rewatching. I'm almost done. I'm on the last season rewatching Seinfeld on Netflix.
No spoilers.
Yeah, I've never really watched it on Seinfeld. I was never big in that show.
I mean, it has a lot of iconic moments.
I'm not a bad thing.
It has a lot of iconic moments, a lot of like cultural reference moments. But you know what was really interesting is I went back and now watching it over again, I've come to realize that like a lot of the really great cultural like epic moments happened later in the series.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, for sure.
Like it was like I'm on season 9, almost done, and season 8 and season 9. I think that's what it is. Season 8 or season 7, season 8, or I think it was 9 seasons.
Yeah.
So season 8 and season 9 had like some of the most that I'm like, oh geez, that's in that one.
Yeah.
Right. I can't remember Soup Nazi, but again, that was like later on. Like, that was like season 7 or 8 or whatever.
7 or 8,
Right. The early seasons, I was just kind of like, ugh.
We're watching How You Met Your Mother right now.
That's one of the best. I
have
told
you
you to
ever
watch
watched
that.
that?
I told you.
I was watching it when it was on. I watched when it was on.
Okay.
I told him to watch it. He was resisting forever, and I'm like, dude, it's a good show.
Yeah.
Which I get that. Like sitcoms, you know, especially like laugh track ones. Are like,
laugh track ones.
It's the first laugh track show I must have watched in like 15 years. Dude.
But like Jason Segel's.
But he's solid.
He's my favorite character.
He's solid in that show.
Like he's so funny.
Yeah. But that's a fun show. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I don't know. I haven't watched much this year.
You know what? I'm going to ask you this because I try to ask some comedians and people who like Kelly and humor and stuff like that. So Friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Everyone has their opinion and stuff like that on Friends and who the best was and all that stuff.
What's Friends?
The show Friends.
The show Friends?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were just asking
and
as a friend.
Most people most people will say that Chandler's the funniest person on the show, and I agree with that. Who do you, in your opinion, who is the second funniest character on that show?
God. When me and my girlfriend moved in, we started watching. I never watched it all the way through. I'd always catch episodes. My grandmother would watch Friends when it was on. Yeah. So, you know, it was never like something I cared about because I was like, oh, it's an old person show.
Fair enough.
And then once I moved in, I watched it, and you know, I got into it. I think. Oh God. I don't even know if. I would say Chandler gets the funniest lines.
Yes.
And if not, and even if it's not funny, his character allows him to deliver them funnier than the line probably even should be.
Yeah.
I would say it's Phoebe really got me when I was watching. I really appreciate. I would always hear how much shit Phoebe would get, and then I was like, Lisa Kudrow is an amazing.
I thought she was one of the best actors on the whole show.
I think she doesn't get enough.
My answer for me always surprises people, but I think it's friggin' Jennifer Aniston, Rachel. You know what? Rachel. If you go back and her comedic timing and the way she reacts to things is so friggin' believable in how she does it, and she actually makes me laugh with lines that are like really not jokes.
No, absolutely. I would say Jennifer found her stride later in later seasons.
That's true.
I think I like I mean, Lisa Kudrow had the benefit of being on Mad About You,
right?
Playing Phoebe's sister.
Yeah, that's right.
So she, there was already kind of like a built-in. So she was kind of going in with
given like a goofy character. Right?
Yeah, and
it's kind of like with Joey. Joey's the in your face, like almost too in your face. Kind of goofy character.
That's the best thing about the rewatch is you realize the benefit of like weekly television and breaks and not binging. Because there'd be an episode where you're like, wow, Joey's so dumb.
Yeah.
But then he would say something in the next episode that was like a joke, and still dumb, but almost too smart for him.
Yeah.
And you go, wait a minute. Well, that's okay, who wrote this? This is a different writer.
Different writer.
And I could start telling who was writing.
Oh, wow, yeah.
You could tell. He's like, oh, Joey's really dumb here. Oh, Joey's just horny in this one.
You notice there's shifts in writing, though.
Other times you're like...
And actually, How I Met Your Mother, that's the biggest contrast I noticed in that show. Sometimes people are completely different.
Really? Okay, really? Okay.
Yeah. And that's the first time I noticed that in a long time. But
that's probably season 1, though, like, because they really kind of...
Well, we're only in season 2.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you've seen the characters change.
Another
show. One show I absolutely love was Parks and Rec.
Great. Parks and Rec's great.
But that's a show. Parks and Rec.
Man, what a terrible first season.
You got to start on season 2. It's such a slow... Because you got to build a real world. That's the hard thing with a mockumentary is you got to believe that this is a place that people exist and real things go on, and someone's got a camera there.
Yeah, but it's like a rocket got strapped on season
hard.
2 and turned into the greatest show.
It's like, let's get silly now that you believe what we're doing.
Yeah. But the Office was the same. Like, The Office had some really funny moments in season 1, but it was like nothing.
Pretty mundane.
The season 1 was just okay. Yeah. Season 2 like immediately turned into comedy gold. Like the difference is like you can't even measure, right?
Oh yeah.
So it's like that's one of the crazy things about it. But I think that is like sometimes season 1 you have different writers. There's inconsistency and things like that, right? You're trying to develop characters. You have to go based off of like focus groups.
Yeah.
Things like that, right? Yeah. So it's tough, and I imagine that's like being a writer like yourself. That's something like is probably tough to figure out in season 1 because you got to figure out who this person is, right?
Yeah, and you don't know, and you don't know. You don't. Again, you don't. I would assume for shows like you don't know if you're getting the next season.
Yeah.
So you're like, how much do we give away now? How much do you have wishful thinking that we're going to be able to develop these stories? What are we pushing out without shoehorning and not giving time? It's there's a lot that goes into. You're creating a human that doesn't exist. It's not.
That's exactly.
You gotta be mom, dad, life experiences. You gotta to form this fictional person that then you gotta then tell someone else to play.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, it's a.
Do you feel that you mentioned you have ADHD, you mentioned autism. Like, do you feel that those things are like? Do you find that they're a hindrance or a benefit in the world the world that you're in?
It's the autism stuff's so new. I'm still
unraveling that.
Yeah, and more or less, I would say
because you're obviously high functioning, obviously.
Yeah. I would think I don't know what I don't have any official diagnosis or terms or anything.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'm like, oh, this is great for this thing yet, because I'm still at the point where I'm like 32 and now I have to I'm questioning my entire life up until this point because I didn't know that I was, or the ADHD and stuff. There definitely is things that I think help me. I do hyper focus on little details and niches and things, and I think that is great for jokes and stuff and specific things, and for my type of humor I think it does work, but in everyday life it's a fucking hindrance. Absolutely, it's because the world's not made for people with any of the stuff like that. Any kind of any neurodivergence.
Yeah, exactly.
Is not So it's a weird.
It's because I've had like an in-depth conversation with a couple people with this who seemed to know what they were doing, and what they were talking about, and it was interesting how they were talking about how they in ADHD they kind of felt like you should get rid of the word like deficit or disorder disorder, because it's like it's not necessarily a disorder, because if you sometimes what makes someone great.
Oh, absolutely.
Is that
absolutely? Yeah.
Right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. No. And if you take that away from an artist, sometimes they're just not an artist anymore. Right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, it's being able to recognize what needs people need when if they
or being able to recognize the artists that you really like. It always goes like the Kanye West. No, we laugh.
Yeah.
But, say what you want about Kanye West, man. But I love his music. I loved his music since day one.
He's got great stuff.
But not only that I love his music on another level.
right? Like, I mean, I love music. I love all genres of music. I'm a hip hop guy, probably primarily, but I do like all genres of music. And Kanye West, when he came out, there was something weird about his beats that really kind of started standing. What he was saying, how he was using his beats and all this. Yeah. And then, like, even present day, it's like, I know he's now not even, like, a good guy, quote unquote, anymore with the things that he's done and said. And I mean, I don't agree with any of that stuff he says, right? But Jesus, he came out with a new record. It's great.
Yeah, I mean that part's always.
Those are two different things.
My brain cannot not like that, right? Like,
yeah,
it's just
well, it's those are probably two separate things. It's like that thing is like, someone can have like dementia or Alzheimer's, right? And it's like they're so stoic, and then it's like you slide a piano in front of them, and they used to play piano, and it's here's Mozart, like, it's like nothing.
I don't. My I guess what I'm saying though is my thoughts don't completely align with Kanye West.
Yeah,
but I see where he's coming from. Sometimes in some things, I at least see how his brain kind of contorts, right?
But that's separating the talent from the artist, though.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
It is and it isn't. But I always wonder: am I appealing to a similar mental disposition that I have, or whatever it could be?
Maybe, but
am I appealing to the just to the music and the beats and whatever? Right? Like,
but for me, like I use the same thing. Like we talked about this in another episode, where it's like I was devastated when all the news about Bill Cosby came out.
Yeah.
Because I loved the Cosby Show. And there was so much good surrounding Bill Cosby in terms of socially what he's done.
See, now I never liked Bill Cosby.
I don't know how you never like the Cosby Show, though.
I hated Bill Cosby.
Yeah, but the Cosby Show was legendary.
I really did. And it was nothing against him. I found him extremely hypocritical and arrogant towards, like, people. And I just...
And black.
What? I did not go there. In fact, I hated Bill Cosby the most when he did the pull your pants up thing, and he was just like, he was doing all this shit.
I know,
and I'm
when
just
he was like lecturing.
Like, come on, like, what are you lecturing even here? What are you even talking about? You're so disconnected from this. I just hated it. I felt like it was just so, under.
The Cosby Show did such a great thing for like social movements at the time, like the show itself, right?
Okay,
and so to this day, I would still I would love to, I still, when it's on, or if I see it, or I'll still watch episodes of it.
It's a hilarious
the guy's
show.
a monster. Turns out all the good he did was ruined, right? But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to pop on the Cosby Show and laugh away.
Doesn't mean he doesn't put on the old Spanish Fly record and spin it once in a while.
No, it's great. I'm still not at the point I can't watch it anymore.
Yeah,
it's like every now and then I'll watch a clip and I'll be like, God, I love this show.
Yes,
but I can't watch. Like, it's just because I feel like I'm being lied to. Like, I feel like my intelligence is being mocked now.
Yeah.
It's it's just such a.
It's weird. I find we're having this like the same thing. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And I think that was more the show that I grew up on.
Well, I mean that came after, but yes,
I can still watch that.
Why wouldn't you be able to watch it just because Will Smith?
Yeah, I'm wearing Fresh Prince sneakers right now. I'm a stand-up comic.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Chris Rock's my favorite.
Yeah. Chris Rock was awesome.
No, I mean, it has.
Yeah.
I don't love Will like I used to.
Right.
Yeah. Obviously.
Because I
again, he's a monster. He's amazing.
Unfortunately, it's
Will Smith had a bad night. He's not a monster.
And it's that thing where it's like it's a double-edged sword because it's like he's human.
Yeah, of course.
It's not
Probably had too much to drink.
not his fault that I've put him on a pedestal of like
Sure.
He's so there's a lot to reconcile there, but it just makes me so mad because like I rooted for years. I wanted this man to get his Oscar, and he gets it on that night of all nights, and it just taints it. And
the only Will Smith movie I haven't seen yet. Have you watched it? Did you watch the movie he got an Oscar?
King Richard,
Yeah. What was it, King Richard?
Yeah, he won. You're thinking he won for Emancipation? He won for the
slave
movie?
I didn't watch that. No,
that came out the year after. That came out the year after. That was his Please Forgive Me movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I never watched King Richard either. No. Is that good?
He was great.
That was a good movie.
Yeah. Emancipation was like he acts well in that.
Is that a good show too?
Yeah, it's.
I haven't seen anything after.
Like, whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I obviously wanted to watch King Richard just because to see, you know, what won him it. But honestly, like, there's very few people, like, there's next to, you know, when it comes to the women's tennis, like the Venus and Serena, like standalone kind of thing, right? I know there's some people that came before them, but you know, in this tournament, especially Serena is top of the mountain, right? So I mean, I wanted to kind of see that backstory because I knew, like, I heard stories about how not great he was, and things like that. So Will did a great job. No wonder he won because, like, dude, that was believable.
No, I never saw it. I gotta watch that one.
Yeah, it's
good. Yeah, but you know what though? At the same time, like, if that's how the story went out, man, that guy believed in his daughters and did everything he possibly could to make sure that they succeeded. Like, he doubled down, like, and he was like, he wanted it his way and all that stuff. Like, it
worked. It worked.
It works. It works, right? But man, what a great movie. Now I kind of want to watch it again, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, man, it was good. But yeah, Will just had a bad night. So I mean, that is what it is, right? Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is that's one of the greatest.
I think it was one of the best shows ever. That was my childhood show. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, so good.
Yeah. So anyway, man, I don't know. Like, what's next for you?
I mean, I'm just one day at a time. You know,
You get some acts coming up, some shows coming up?
I got some shows coming up. I get to...
It's come up in November, but...
It's coming up in November, so...
You had some great shows in October.
Yes, I did. So by this
all the
point,
best ones.
I will have opened up for Todd Barry.
Yeah,
I'm sure I've murdered, and now I'm swept away in New York as you listen to this, and I'm hosting SNL next week. No, I mean,
Wouldn't that be awesome? It would be like The Simpsons.
That would be just totally predicted.
Yeah.
No, I'm working on. I would like to get a special out. I would like to release something visually. That's, you know, I've done 2 albums, and so I think the next is the YouTube route, and got a thing. There will be. It won't be Halloween time anymore, but tomorrow a sketch releases that me and my buddy Chris Wilson from 22 Minutes filmed last year.
Okay.
It's an Exorcist sketch, so it's seasonally works with this time of year. You know, it's one of the sketches that I wrote that the show did not use.
There you go.
So now, you know, you take it and you use it as your own and hope for the best. So hopefully that's doing well. So if you haven't checked out that, go check out that.
Cool.
Other than that, The Travis Lindsay is pretty much all my social medias.
The Travis Lindsay. There's like Instagram, Facebook.
THE Travis Lindsay.
All that cool stuff.
All that cool stuff. And, you know, if I got a show, please come out. Come say hi. If I don't make eye contact with you, I'm sorry. That's just that doesn't mean I don't like you. That just means I'm nervous.
Yeah. I'll get that 100%. Man, it was really nice hanging out.
Yeah, guys. Cheers, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to The Afternoon Pint. We are an independent podcast and we need your support. Please take a moment to hit that like, follow, and share button. Email us if you have an idea or suggestion for the show. Please send your feedback. We'd love to hear from you.